Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of. Alright, I'm your host, Evan Roderman, joined by.
Isaac.
Moose Matt.
And we got JJ behind the dishes working the camera today. First topic, we're going to go recap Game 5 of the NBA Finals. What did you think Indiana's problem was?
Man, honestly, it's just the inconsistency from Halliburton, man. Halliburton's just, he didn't come out as the Halliburton yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Dude just came out piss poor. I don't know. There's no other way to describe it. The dude was not good. What do you have? 0 field goals, 0 blocks, 0 steals.
Fourth quarter, I believe. He didn't have any.
0 assists.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have a single field goal the whole game. It was just free throws.
Yeah. Crazy.
And he had, I think it was 3 turnovers, I want to say. 3 or 5 turnovers. Insane. Yeah, you just not going to win games like that,
Not going to cut it. Not from the guy that you're leaning upon to be that guy. I mean, me and you said the same thing last night. Siakam, I think, is the guy for that team. But
he's a dog.
Yeah.
But Hallie, you got to have better. You got to have better from him. That, and then you also had too many turnovers. You had a questionable decision whether or not to bring back T.J. McConnell at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You should have done it sooner. And I mean, of course, the big thing people are going to point out that it's all over Twitter is like the big, I've never seen it before, a foul on a jump ball.
Yeah, I think that changed the whole momentum. I think they cut it down to 4 points by that time.
I think so, something like that, like 2 or 4 points. It was really close.
Right after that, it jumped right back up to 7, and then continued to build. And they're just playing from behind the whole game. And I don't know how much of that is just Halliburton not playing good. I mean, I feel like a lot of the bench didn't do what they're supposed to do.
Nembhard didn't make a shot. I mean,
Nembhard was very quiet.
It was bad.
Benedict was quiet. TJ stepped up really good.
Naismith wasn't doing much until the second half. So that kind of
you had
both of them
players playing okay. I mean, Turner played all right. Siakam showed up.
Yeah.
And TJ, really, I mean, outside of that, it's a shit show.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Williams is going to have another 40-point game. I mean, he was on fire. He couldn't miss. He was just finding anything he wanted. He could get into the lane, making every three.
Yeah, Wiggins was hot.
And Wiggins was incredibly hot, too, right out the gate. I think he had, 3 threes in the first quarter? So, I mean, they had a great jump, and they just continued to hold that lead. They almost fumbled it in the third going into the fourth quarter. But hopefully now with their backs against the wall at home, I think you're going to see a very desperate Pacers team in Game 6.
Yeah, I think so. And I kind of figured it would go this way. I didn't think that they would go back-to-back losses like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought they would actually put up a little bit more of a fight towards the end. But I still see this series going to 7. You definitely see that with just the way that the Pacers fight through everything. But ultimately, I mean, I just don't see the Thunder losing it. I mean,
you think ultimately Thunder in 7?
I think so, just because it'd be back at home. But it's very hard because the Pacers are just so gritty, man. Like they
don't stop. I mean, I didn't count them out until about the 2-minute mark in the fourth quarter, and then I finally said this game's over.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I mean, you could feel that it was a possibility. They're scrappy still on defense. They crashed the boards well. They just didn't have the luck of having their shots go down.
Yeah, that, and, you got too far behind to catch up. I mean, we all said the same thing at halftime, right? I'm surprised this ball game isn't like a 30-point ball game. I mean, they were still in the game. It was after a terrible first half. I mean, and then, going forward, I want to say the Pacers will win Game 6 because it's hard to see them losing 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they get it to a Game 7, that's not a team you want to be in 7-game series with. So, I mean, they very well still could win the series. I could also see OKC on the other hand. Maybe they figured that out. Mm. Maybe Halliburton's time is over. Maybe there's a new cartel in town.
All right.
And his name's SGA.
SGA. All right. So, Game 6, prediction. Who you got?
I'm gonna take the Pacers. I think it's gonna be somewhat close, but I think the Pacers end up like taking it by maybe like 6 points.
All right.
6 points. I'm gonna go Pacers on a close win, 2 point game.
Close one. All
Yeah.
right. I got the Pacers in a blowout. I think they're going to just come out and not let up. They're going to be pedal to the metal the full 4 quarters.
Kind of like game three.
Yep. They're just going to come out swinging and they're not going to back down at all. But all right. Now, aside from the NBA Finals, still some NBA news. Recently, there was a trade the Orlando Magic completed with the Memphis Grizzlies, acquiring Desmond Bane. Orlando gets Bane, and Memphis gets KCP along with Cole Anthony, this year's 16th pick in the NBA draft, plus 4 first rounders. Is that too steep of a price to pay for a player that didn't even average 20 points a game? Jerry, what are your thoughts on Desmond Bane going to Orlando?
I mean, there's two sides of that coin, I think, right? Number one, nobody expected the Grizzlies to trade Desmond Bane out of nowhere. That wasn't on the mark. That wasn't really a lookout thing, right? That's not something we were highlighting like KD or Giannis. But then it happened, right? And why did it happen? Maybe Memphis said, we kind of missed our window building up and didn't make a move. And sometimes that's the right move, like the OKC you're seeing right now, and other times it's the wrong move. And that's kind of the Rocket situation right now. Do they make a move? Do they not? Um, but I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, when somebody approaches you with that many picks and tools to retool, it's kind of hard to say no. So I understand why Memphis did it. And then on the Magic side of things, I also understand why they did it, even though it was paying a hefty price. Maybe you overpaid a little bit, but maybe you think, hey, Desmond Bane is a light out shooter. He didn't average 20 last year, but the year before he did. Uh, Maybe they think he's the missing piece because I mean, you still have Franz, you still have Paulo. I mean, and Jalen Suggs. It's not like they're not deep. They got plenty of depth, and those are young core guys that are going to be taking those spots. So losing the draft picks doesn't hurt you all that much.
I get where you're coming from, but let's keep in mind this is a Memphis team that just fired their head coach because he didn't win enough games, and he won 48 games. It's not a horrible job. Yeah. So, do you honestly believe that they're just going to say sell everybody? Jaren Jackson Jr.'s gone, Morant's gone, or they keep at least one of those guys and just say they're going to retool? Because I don't think they're just done. That makes no sense.
No, I mean, I wouldn't expect a whole start over like that. I think John Morant and Jaren Jackson, again, provide extreme value. They're still young enough, at least, to retool. But it wouldn't shock me if they said, we don't want to be middle of the road, and then they do clean house because that's the way of the NBA today. It's progressively gotten more and more like that, right? You don't want to be middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that, honestly. I mean, what he said, you approach someone with 4 first round picks, it's kind of hard to say no to that, right? So Memphis doing that. They still got a solid player in KCP. He's a solid role player. And you got Cole Anthony. Like that's not bad to still build around. On top of that, you have all these 1st round picks for the future. And I mean, John Morant and Jaren Jackson are both still super young. So it's not exactly a whole new rebuild, but I mean, now you're trying to build around new, younger guys that will take you into the future just because the NBA is pretty much wide open right now. I mean, the last, 7 years been new teams in the finals or new champion.
Yeah. So you don't think they'd trade John Morant for any type of anything?
No.
I mean, I don't see it, but it just as easily could happen. I mean, if they got approached with something like this, or maybe like a solid player, they're like, hey, we all have 4 first round picks. Give us 2 and John Morant for like some superstar or some up and coming superstar. I don't know. Someone like, let's just say it was someone like Giannis. Not saying Giannis in particular, but I'm just saying, like, okay, if someone approached you with that deal, kind of got to take it too,
Yeah. All right. Well, my next question is seeing Desmond Bane be worth 4 first round picks, and then last year Miles Bridges was worth 5 first round picks. How many picks in capital is it going to cost to acquire a player like Kevin Durant?
Man, I think that really just messed up the whole trade market because I feel like the Rockets are probably getting pretty close somewhere. I know the Suns don't really want Jalen Green. From what it's looking like, a bunch of the reports saying that they're not really too interested in him because I guess he wouldn't really fit exactly with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal.
Hmm. I think Bradley Beal's gone. He doesn't want to come back. I think it's a mutual exit, but still,
Still, yeah, I mean, it just kind of unless you can figure out some type of three-way trade, but still, it's at that point the Rockets would probably have to give up maybe like if it were the Rockets, you'd probably have to give up a couple more first round picks.
mhm.
And then if it were the Spurs or the Heat, same thing. You know, it just depends like on the caliber of player you're gonna offer up.
So
But
where
it's
do you
probably
see
gonna
him
take
going?
I mean, I honestly don't see the Spurs giving up too much to try to go out there and get KD like that. I could see the Heat doing it. I feel like they're a little in like desperate mode right now, just kind of keep everything together, especially after how they like folded
So
in
if
the
you're the
playoffs.
Heat, what does that look like? What do you think?
Probably Andrew Wiggins, couple first round picks, and just a couple role players that they got.
Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, someone like Duncan Robinson. You're gonna build around Tyler Hero, of course. So it's Tyler Hero and KD. You got two solid shooters
Bam.
there, and
Bam.
you keep Bam.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly an interesting one, right? KD with the market. Um, do I think it impacts the market? I think it does impact the market, but not in the way of KD. I think it's other players more so. The KD situation, I think, is very unique in itself because they've given up all their leverage, the Suns, by not trading them when they should have traded them at this deadline instead of now.
Okay.
I mean, now it's where does KD want to go? Because if the team takes a chance on him not signing, they're probably not going to do that. It costs too much. And then number two, with that limited amount of teams, who's going to throw out the best offers? Well, nobody wants to give up crazy amount for 37-year-old KD right now.
Right.
So I don't think it will really impact his trade value too much. And I think all of those teams you name, the Spurs, Miami, and the Rockets, it wouldn't surprise me on any of those. I really don't know. I mean, it's just a matter of who offers the best, worst package. Because I think at the end of the day, the Suns are not going to get what they asked for.
Well,
Oh yeah, no.
no. I mean, again, you have to remember it's a 37-year-old player. How long can he stay at the top of his game where he still is? Not much longer than I would give him 2 years max. And you want to give up about 7 to 8 years worth of potential for a 2 year window. I mean, granted, you're going to get a superstar who can help you elevate to the next
Oh
level
yeah,
right now,
yeah, he's a sniper.
but some teams, I don't see San Antonio doing that. I think they got a good core of players, even though they'd probably be the ones with the best and most to give. I like Castle. I like Wanyama. I like where they're heading right now. I don't feel like they have to get a player like KD. They could keep those guys and just acquire through free agency versus having to give up draft capital. But do you think the Rockets, somehow, if they were to agree, right, Jalen Green uh, plus 4 first round picks, are you saying yes to that as a Rockets fan? Would you be okay with that?
No,
I would.
no, and I don't think that's the way they're going. From what I've heard, Amon's untouchable as well as Singoon, and then I've also heard you can confirm or deny this that Tari and Jabari are also and Reed are also untouchable. But
So hot
that's
take.
maybe right. We don't. I would definitely have a hard time believing they're going to get rid of Singoon or Amon. That's not happening. And I don't think they would even give up a 2027 or 29 pick either because the Suns are going to suck.
Yeah.
They got them trapped.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think the best thing, and I think it's realistic, is Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, maybe throw in Cam Whitmore, and then the number 10 pick this year. And I think that gets it done.
I think that's fair.
That's probably the best offer that they will get at that point.
At least the salaries would match.
And if I'm the Rockets, I feel okay with that.
Yeah. I think it opens up a lot of playing time and minutes for those other younger guys like Reed Shepard to get, the minutes they need to develop and finally show what they are.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, you're talking about the second pick in last year's draft, hardly even playing. I don't think he played at all during the playoffs, if I'm correct.
Played like a total of 8 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
In all 5 games.
Yeah, so you're getting rid of those extra minutes that can go towards other players while also acquiring a superstar that can be your fourth quarter closer. That's what the Rockets need because when it mattered most, they didn't step up. They could have easily have won that series against the Warriors. I don't think the Warriors were the better team at all. They were just a more experienced team with better composure.
They need a shooter, and he's a lights out shooter.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, that's going to do it today for this episode. I'm Evan.
Isaac.
Moose.
And again, we had JJ behind the dish recording. Give a shout out to JJ. And thank you guys for watching another episode of